Come play.
Let's play!
Yay!
Let's play.
Follow the words.
In the day when dark powers dwelled in the woods, and witches hid behind gnarled old trees, there was a castle. There was a castle. There was a castle that stood in the middle of a deep and gloomy wood. And in the castle, an old woman who is a witch of great power. Well, all alone. Flew about in the form of a screech owl. Or crept about the country like a cat. Or walked the earth as a crooked old woman. She could lure birds. Birds? And wild beasts. And then, what does she do? She killed, boiled, and roasted. When any young man came within 100 paces of her castle, he was obliged to stand still. And could not stir from the place until she bade him be free. But whenever an innocent maiden, she changed her into a bird and shut her up into a wickerwork cage and carried the cage into the castle. She must have had 7,000 cages of this kind, all containing pretty birds. Now, very pretty. Now, there was once a maiden who was called Jorinda, who was fairer than all the other girls. She and a handsome youth named Joringel had promised to marry each other. In the days of their courtship,
So wonderful!
the greatest joy in being alone together. One evening they went for a walk in the forest. In order that they might be able to talk together in peace. As they walked, they passed a huntsman. He said, "You must take care that you do not go too near to the witch's castle." Well, it was a beautiful evening. The moon shone brightly between the trunks of the trees into the dark green of the forest. And the turtle dove sang mournfully upon the beech tree. Forgetting the huntsman's warning, they wandered deeper into the woods. A feeling of foreboding, everyone. Jorinda wept now and then. She sat down and was sorrowful. Joringel was sorrowful too. They were as sad as if they were about to die. Then they looked around them, and they were at quite a loss, for they did not know by which way they should go home. Joringel looked through the undergrowth. Who's going to be an undergrowth? Over here. Without knowing it.
Right under there!
Sat down under the old walls of the castle. He was horror-stricken and filled with deadly fear. disappeared. And Jorinda began to sing. Jorinda turned and beheld his Jorinda changing into a nightingale, and her song continued mournfully. Screech owl with glowing eyes, a screech owl with glowing eyes, flew 3 times. 3 times shouted and cried, "Woo-hoo! Jorinda could not move. He stood fixed as a stone and could neither weep nor speak, nor stir a hand nor foot. The owl flew into a thicket, out of which appeared almost at the same time a crooked old woman, skinny and yellow. She mumbled something to herself, seized the nightingale, and went away with it in her hand. Poor Joringel saw the nightingale was gone, but what could he do? He could not speak, he could not move from the spot where he stood. At last, the old woman returned and said in a droning voice, "Greetings, Joringel. When the moon shines on the cage, unloose the captive, Joringel." Then Joringel was freed. He fell on his knees before the old woman and begged her to give him back his dear Jorinda, but she laughed at him and said, "You will never see your sweet love again." He pleaded, he wept, he lamented, but all in vain. Alas, what shall become of me without my beloved? Joringel could not go home, and so he wandered deeper into the forest, wandering deeply in the forest in search of a way to free his Jorinda. He walked as though in a dream, neither seeing nor hearing, until he could go no further, laid down and drifted into a fretful sleep, plagued by nightmares that swirled around him. At last, he dreamt that he had found a beautiful blood-red flower. He dreamt that he plucked the flower, and he carried it to the castle, and everything he touched with it was disenchanted. This way he recovered his Jorinda. Dreamt. In the morning, he awoke to find the flower there beside him. Then he plucked the flower and set out till he came to the castle again. Castle. He slowly walked forwards, closer and closer to the castle, but he was not held fast as before when he came within 100 paces of the castle, but walked straight up to the door. Joringel was full of joy. He touched the door with the flower, and it sprang. He walked in through the courtyard and listened for the sound of birds. At last, he came to the chamber where the witch sat, with 7,000 birds singing in 7,000 cages. When the witch saw Joringel, she was very angry and screamed with rage. She scolded him and spat poison and gall at him. He paid no attention, but turned away and searched among the bird cages. You see, the witch could not come within 2 paces of him, for the flower in his hand was his safeguard. There were many hundred nightingales. How was he to find his Jorinda? While he was thinking what to do, he saw the witch had taken down one of the cages and was making her way through the door. He sprang swiftly towards her and touched the cage and the witch with the flower. She could no longer bewitch anyone, and Jorinda was standing there, clasping him around the neck and looking at him with eyes filled with love. After that, filled with love. After that, he changed all the other birds back into maidens again.